The Trailblazer was updated in 2024, giving us 2 different powertrains and 4 different trims. We're showcasing the 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer Active in cacti green over jet black interior. The Active and the RS are kind of the sweet spot because it gives you the more performance engine, giving 18 horsepower more, 12 pound-feet of torque more, whereas the LS and the LT will give you the smaller engine and then a front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive configuration, which throws another curveball. That will entail a CVT transmission or a 9-speed automatic transmission. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over some pros and cons, explain all the specs and features that you're getting from the exterior, interior, take it for a test drive so you can see how the front-wheel drive configuration is with the CVT transmission. The Active is going to start with 7.5 inches of clearance with the front-wheel drive configuration. All-wheel drive changes that to 8 inches of clearance. The base vehicles are going to be 7 inches of clearance. The front fascia is going to have a unique stance for the Active, as well as the RS with the smoked chrome that goes into the LED daytime runnings with the LED headlights, and the lower gets this carbon fiber look insert. So it's going to have more of an off-roadsy appeal when you're going into the Active, whereas the RS is going to have more of a sporty appeal. The LT, you can option a black out package, which will blacken out the front, including bow tie badging, and house underneath the hood gets the ecotech 1.3 turbocharged 3-cylinder producing 155 horsepower with 174 pound-feet of torque, paired to a continuously variable transmission or CVT. That's going to achieve 29 mpgs for the city, 33 mpgs for the highway, because this is the front-wheel drive variant. Towing doesn't matter whether you go front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. It's still going to max at 1,000 pounds. Wheel designs start at 17-inch. The Active gets the high-gloss black machine alloy wheels with sport terrain tires. And you could get up to a 19-inch wheel. Now, we have ticked a few boxes for features, like the panel moonroof. It's a 2-panel. That's a standalone package. In the convenience package, which adds interior specs that we will explain shortly, the driver confidence package, which gives the rear cross traffic alert, rear park assist, lane changing alert with the blind spot zone alert. And Chevrolet gives you options because you can get the tracks, and if you go into the Active, you would save a little bit of dough. It's going to be smaller than this. This is going to sit up just a little bit more so than that particular vehicle, but at the MSRP that it's at, a problem that I have right off the bat is you can get the Equinox Active, and it's going to have more features than this, and features that you can't even option in this variant. But the pro is it doesn't matter which trim you tick, because you can add desirable features in the interior and you can still make it look sporty on the exterior. Now, going into competition, Honda, you're going to spend a little bit more dough. The same thing when you're going into Toyota and Mazda as well. Mazda's going to have 2 different power options, which will have a little bit more performance than this, especially if you go into the turbo variant. But if you go into the non-turbo variant, the suspension layout to this is going to be better because you have a McPherson strut front suspension with a multi-link rear suspension. The rear going into the Active and the RS gets LED taillights, and LED stop bar is standard on all trims, but the LT and LS is going to have halogen taillights. The lower, you get smoked out chrome with the dual exhaust tips. I could go without this because it's not the RS and it's not really that much power. I mean, you are getting 18 horsepower more and 12 pound-feet of torque more than the base ecotech 1.2 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. And if Chevrolet added the turbocharged 4-cylinder to this, being just a touch over 32 grand, I would say this is a home run, because at the pricing you're at, you are still close to the Equinox. So they've really made a interesting layout for their price segment, because you're talking maybe $2,000 to $4,000 between each trim, and then comparing it against competition, this is going to be about $3,000 to $4,000 less than everybody in its class. So would you go to the competition or pick the Trailblazer? Drop a comment below and let us know. The convenience package will give us this power lift gate going into 25.3 cubic feet of storage. You have 2 little storage nooks here. Underneath the floor, you have to option this now. It's about $200 upgrade for the spare tire. Otherwise, it comes with a fix-a-flat. You can also lower this, which will give you an increase about 4 inches in the depth. Now, this is not that long of a vehicle, so I can stretch and fold this down at a 40-60 split to max cargo to 54.4 cubic feet of storage. Otherwise, you have to go into the back in order to do so. The key fob to the Chevy Trailblazer Active. 10-way power seat adjustment for the driver is standard on the Active, as well as this ecotech seating, the Active embossed. You get the contrast stitch, the piping, heated front seats, and it's still somewhat of a driver-focused setup, but the passenger still has a pretty decent amount of room. I do like the contrast stitch that comes onto the dash, and you have this carbon fiber look that comes into play. 6 speakers standard. Let's fire it up. Now we have the panoramic moonroof, which is a 2-panel moonroof. That is an upgrade. The convenience package gives you this wireless charging pad plus a 12-volt charger, USB-C ports, climate control, 11-inch diagonal infotainment screen with Wi-Fi hotspot, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto wirelessly, Sirius XM. Put it into reverse and you get a reverse camera. The trajectory will expand out. I just don't like how it doesn't cover up the whole screen. It feels more like an 8-inch opposed to the 11 inches that you're getting. You still have a physical button to turn it on and off, and it is a 1 panel, but you can see how they implement a screen in front of it. So I think that is pretty cool the way they do it with an 8-inch digital gauge cluster that can go through an array of different content for the driver. With a wrapped steering wheel, it's multi-function. And you have 8 years of OnStar standard. So I think that is awesome. You'll have your driver mode select here. So you got the checkered flag, that's your sport mode. So you're gonna go really fast. You got this one here, that's gonna keep you on the road for the snow. Glossy black is not so glossy black here. So I appreciate that, because now you're not gonna have fingerprints everywhere. And you also have a little area, if you have a smaller phone like me, you can put it there, or you can put the key fob. You also have another storage tray here. This is pushed back, it's gonna be more firm. It has a little storage compartment for a larger smartphone that lifts up into a deep storage pocket. Leg space. It's pretty good for the front occupants. You have probably about 2 to 4 inches before you hit the dash, and you can rest your legs on the sidewall. Headroom, same thing, another 4 inches. I'm at 6'3". Auto dimming rear view mirror. And that package also gives you illuminated sun visors. Otherwise, that's not gonna be the case. Door panel and dash configuring together, and you're gonna have that pattern design with the glossy black, but it kind of isn't so glossy where it leaves fingerprints. So I appreciate that. You have the carpet inlays, 1 touch up and down for the front windows. It's going to be more firm to rest your arms with a long storage pocket, a beverage holder carved out, and you can adjust the tailgate here to make it where it'll open up all the way, or 3/4. And adding the driver confident package gives you the side blind spot zone monitoring with rear cross traffic alert, rear parking assist, and lane changing. For the back seat, this is the opening that you have to fit 3 more or 2 with the armrests and cup holders, which you don't get this on the LS. These charging ports here, that's part of the convenience package with a home plug and storage behind both of the front seats. The door card is gonna have the same materials in the front. Nope, it actually strips out all of that, and it's gonna be just the hard materials, more plastic through the back, and maybe a large beverage holder. Sitting behind me, the seats are carved out, so you have another 4 inches or so before my knees hit. Headroom becomes a little bit less. It's about 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches before I hit the headliner. And then you'll also notice that it doesn't get the piping, you'll get the contrast stitch here. Carry on with the white in the headrest. Sitting into the middle, you can fit an adult. You don't have to just think that this is for kids to sit back here. Even headroom, it's gonna be more compromised, but because we have the moonroof, it actually gives you about 2 inches extra headroom. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit lower, making it a little bit tighter. The Trailblazer, we're going to dissect and see if this is really a sweet spot. You get the ecotech 1.3 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, 155 horsepower with 174 pound-feet of torque. And don't go too crazy. I'm going to hit this little flag here, which is sport mode. Here we go. Oof. It's fast. I feel like I'm in NASCAR. 18 horsepower more than the base engine. 12 pound-feet of torque more. That is a lot. I'm just kidding. All jokes aside, This is an everyday vehicle, it's a practical vehicle. You're getting basically 30 mpgs all around. So it's good for that category. And when you go into the Active and the RS, you don't have to go through all the BS of having to worry about the 1.2 or the 1.3. It's a standard 1.3 engine. I like that, but then it's kind of confusing to the customers when you're giving 4 trims, 2 different power options, plus 2 different transmission options. And when you go into the top specs, like the Active and the RS, you can still get a CVT or a 9-speed automatic transmission, which when you get the 1.3 liter, I feel like they should just kind of take that off. You're starting to have to add a lot of features, in which if you keep adding, we're already around $6,000 added to the car. It literally will price it out into the Equinox. That, to me, is a problem with the way they do their structure. If you don't option it up to the gills like we have here, then it becomes a sweet spot vehicle because it is bigger than the Trax. And you can option more power. But that power is not going to translate to anything that's going to get you like a speeding ticket. You're going to know that you're going fast in this particular vehicle. It is a box on wheels. The active sound cancellation is through the sound system, and we are still missing a few features. So this thing could go over $8,000 in features pretty quick. It does have good torque at the low note, so I do appreciate that. So the everyday use up to 50 miles per hour, or even maybe 60, you're not gonna feel too much of the lag, and it does have a little bit more pep to it. It's not gonna put you in your, it's not gonna pin you in your seat, but just look, we're going around 30-ish. It has a little kick to it. It doesn't sport the sporty vibes in the interior, giving like circular air vents like the Equinox. In the screens, they're not over the top, but it's not necessarily flush in the dash. And you have a climate control here, and you have to option a wireless charging pad because that's not going to be standard amenities. But on the Pro, you get standard connectivity like your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Everything's digital reader for those tech-happy people. It's not as tech-driven as most new cars, but I also appreciate that it's not over the top with the tech. You still have physical buttons, and you don't have to do every damn thing through that infotainment screen. Because with the Equinox, if you're considering the cross shot between the two, just to turn off the lights, literally, it's like 4 or 5 different pages that you have to go into. Here, you got a knob. You just turn it. Simple, easy. I don't know why we have went to this craziness of needing to go all out with technology. Maneuverability? It has the pickup, like I said, on that lower note. Once you start going past 70 miles per hour, though, you will start seeing or feeling a little bit less in the performance, but that's also to be expected. Road noise does filter in quite a bit. The seat comfort is good. It doesn't have any cushion extensions. They don't have any option for that. And I do like the material for the ecotech. It feels like it breathes pretty well. Turn radius at a stop point is about 2 lanes. Let's rock and roll. Now, one thing about the continuously variable transmission is you're going to be hitting more of a 3 RPM everywhere. But because it's a Turbo 3, I'm all right with that. I do like the 9-speed automatic transmission a little bit better, and your MPGs is only maybe 2 MPGs off from this. So it is something to consider, but realistically speaking, the only thing that it's gonna benefit is you're getting a 9-speed transmission, because towing capacity is the same, payload is the same, and you're gonna lose some MPG. So if you don't need it, I mean, the front wheel drive will be efficient for you. Ticking the box to features, I may drop the pano. That'll save you about $2 grand. That's a lot of money for features. It's actually one of the most expensive features too. And with the safety features that already come in play, I think you're already taken care of with the majority of the stuff. So even adding the driver confidence package, I mean, you could do with or without. It just depends on if you really need those extra features. It's not that long of a vehicle, doesn't feel that wide. Maneuverability purposes, the steering is pretty light. Going over imperfections in the road, you're gonna feel it a little bit more so, even though these are 17-inch wheels. But for the most part, it is a smooth driving vehicle. Not gonna be the smoothest in class. I will say that goes into Honda and Mazda, depending on the trim that you go for Mazda, but then you get the Torsum rear beam suspension. This is gonna have a little bit more blind spots than the Equinox because there isn't any back windows for the cargo area. but you do have blind spot monitoring, which when you add some of the features, you're going to be taken care of with the safety. And for safety and security purposes, I mean, you're already getting Chevy Safety Assist, which gives you the automatic emergency braking, the frontal pedestrian braking, the Atella beam, which I absolutely hate this feature. I mean, high beams on, and it will auto turn on and off for you for oncoming traffic, but it hardly ever works. So I really suggest you just turn the damn thing off. I mean, everything's LED in the front. You don't need it. Lane keeping assist with lane departure warning, follow distance indicator with forward collision alert. I mean, safety is what Chevy is doing. But for 2026, one thing they are doing that's kind of sneaky is they have taken the spare tire out. You're gonna have to spend about $200 for a spare tire. So if you need it, I mean, maybe you wanna go on Amazon if you want to actually really make it as eco-friendly as possible. But for an overall package, if you don't go crazy with the features and you just kind of tailor it the way you need it for safety and desirable amenities, I think it's a home run. But let me know what you think. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check this next video out right here. And I'd like to thank our friends here at Regal Chevrolet.